Hello, everybody, and my name is Narendra Kumar, and we are from NRK Academy. And today we have a lovely story called The Power Within, a short story of human transformation. And let's start. She had been married for 2 years. She lived in a village. Her name was Leela. Her husband was a cook in a hotel in the city. Her husband was that ordinary Indian, and he did not respect her at all. He would often shout at her, and in the initial days of her marriage, when she raised her voice a bit, he thrashed her. She could not protest. Slowly, she knew how to submit. One day she was in the market and she noticed that a man was watching her. He looked at her in a strange way, as if he was attracted to her. She found him strange. He was well built and looked like a carpenter or a workman. The next day she came and he was there. This time he followed her from a distance, and she looked back at him, her heart pounding, guilty and full of pleasure. That night her husband came drunk as he did usually, and he complained about the food. She stared at him and he got so angry that he took the broom and beat her. That night she sat outside looking at the stars after her husband had taken her in that cheap way that too had become a routine to her. She felt lonely, and a deep longing filled her. It surprised her. Next day she went to the market and he was there, that man. Today he was dressed very smartly in tight jeans and t-shirt. Her breath stopped. She walked away and he followed. Finally she took a dry road that led to the fields nearby, turned and smiled at him slightly. She could see the look of joy in his face. Finally, she came to a deserted spot and she went behind some trees and waited. He came. She asked, "Why do you look at me like that?" He answered, "You are so beautiful." "Do not lie, I am not. What do you want?" Nothing, sorry." And he began to turn back, feeling very guilty. She felt a pity for him and a sinking in her heart. "Wait," she said. "If you are brave, speak your mind." He said simply, I want you, I like you, something about you, you're so, and then he looked at her and saw into her eyes. She stepped forward and on an impulse, desire burning within her, she let her sari fall. He looked at her with a strange awe, and then he held her, kissed her violently. He started moving all over her body with his lips and she moaned. They went down together. That night her husband came, again drunk. "Where is the food?" he demanded. "I did not prepare," she answered. For a moment he was shocked. She was holding a rod in her hand, a thin rod. As he came near, she started beating him. On and on went that thrashing, bruising him, which means hurting him, wounding him. He screamed and ran away from the house. She stood there and laughed, hysterically. All was quiet. She stood there realizing this was not her home. She did not know that man too. But a strange fearlessness and recklessness took hold over her. She walked out. She walked and walked in the dark as if she could walk forever. She knew her mother would be angry, but her father would help her. But she felt so free and so happy. And that is the story of how once a woman realizes her value, she can rebel. Thank you so much.